A walking tour of Laguna Beach's Village District. I'm Chris. This is Yellow Productions. I do travel guides that are fun, informative, and entertaining. And in this video, I'm going to be walking you through the heart of Laguna Beach. Laguna Beach is known as an artist's enclave in Orange County. It's located about an hour drive south of Los Angeles International Airport. And today's walk, I am starting on the bluff tops at Heisler Park behind the inn at Laguna Beach, be walking you along Main Beach, along the boardwalk, and then we'll head into the downtown district, also known as the Village, where Laguna's highest concentration of shops and restaurants are. I'm shooting this on a Sunday in February. It's not a particular holiday Sunday or anything, but it is quite a busy day down here at Laguna Beach because the weather is unusually warm today. It was about 80 degrees Fahrenheit today, so really nice weather that brought a lot of people here to the beach. Now, I always like to show people where restrooms are, and actually a nice thing about Laguna Beach is they have really clean restrooms. These are some of my favorite restrooms right here at the Laguna Beach Lifeguard Headquarters office. Laguna Beach doesn't call them, well, they call them lifeguards, but they're part of Laguna Beach's Marine Safety Division. Laguna Beach has 7 miles of sandy coastline, so there's a lot of beach here, but I think Laguna Beach is maybe most famous for being in MTV's reality TV show, the same name as the city of Laguna Beach. Now, this park that we're walking through, this is called Main Beach Park. There are a couple of basketball courts here. I think these are basketball courts with the nicest view ever because the ocean is just right there. It's not a full court. It doesn't have 2 sides. They're 2 single courts currently closed due to the pandemic. Though, good news, the beach is open if you're looking for some place to go and enjoy the warm weather and the scenery. Now, there's a lot of benches here along this boardwalk, super popular place to sit, enjoy the sunset, enjoy a picnic lunch. You could really call this a boardwalk. A lot of beaches have sidewalks along their beach, but this one is actually wooden, so I think that qualifies it as a boardwalk. And this is Laguna's most popular beach because at this road right here, this is the 133 highway as it intersects Pacific Coast Highway that you see running along the beach. So this is the intersection that basically everybody drives through when they're coming to Laguna Beach. There are a number of volleyball courts here, but they don't have any nets on them currently. And now I want to show you this guy over here. This guy is known as the greeter in Laguna Beach, and he stands right at this intersection most weekends, waving to the cars, dancing, and welcoming you to Laguna Beach. And if you can't tell, I'm talking about this guy right here. Quite a trip. He's got some sequins, hats, and different costumes that he wears. So I always like to see him. He's a lot of fun. And you can almost, watch him as a little bit of a show that he puts on now. He's putting on his purple velvet show. He is an icon here in Laguna Beach. Okay, continuing our walk down the boardwalk. It's getting a little busier where I'm standing. There's a little pocket parks in here. It's the winter, so they've got this little area built up because there's a storm drain that runs underneath the boardwalk, and on a real wet day, then this is actually a little stream that flows from the storm runoff. Today, it's just a happy place for seagulls to hang out and take a bath. Over here, this building is the historic Laguna Cinema. It's the movie theater that was down here in Laguna Beach. It's now closed, so no movies currently. There's actually in discussions of some electric car maker using it as a education center, not to sell electric cars, but to use the theater space to give people presentations about the benefit of electric cars. It's not Tesla that's planning to open there. It's a different electric car company that I can't remember the name right now. But Laguna Beach has a lot of very restrictive building policies, and so that use of that theater is currently with the Laguna Planning Commission to see if it's a good historic use of that historic building. Now, another historic building here in Laguna Beach is the main lifeguard tower. We passed the main lifeguard office back there, and this is the main lifeguard tower. This building did not start life as a lifeguard tower. This building started life over at a gas station, and the residents of Laguna Beach thought it was so iconic that they moved it here to the beach and use it as a lifeguard tower instead of tearing it down as what it was once slated to do. Nice thing about this lifeguard tower, they always post the beach conditions on it, so we can take a look right here and see today on February 21st. High tide is at 7:17 p.m., low tide at 12:20. The surf is 2 to 3 feet. The water temperature is 57 degrees, and there's a light wind, 5 to 8 knots, which is a pleasant wind, not too windy. This is the last shot we're going to see of the long part of the beach before we go into the village. But Laguna Beach is one of my favorite beaches to walk on in Orange County. But the best time is definitely to come at low tide because it's not a super wide beach. Now, up here on this little park, there's a children's playground, and there's another bathroom over here, though it's a bit of an older bathroom, so I generally avoid that public bathroom. Laguna Beach does do a good job cleaning them. I see them cleaning the bathrooms regularly. It's just hard to keep one that's really old all that nice. So we're going to cut across this grassy area and then make our way into the shopping restaurant district, which is this whole area back in here. Now, currently in Southern California, indoor dining is not allowed, so all of these restaurants have a ton of extra outdoor seats. These outdoor seats are not typical, but they are typical for the pandemic. And this restaurant right here is known as the Greeter's Corner, because again, famous for the Laguna Beach greeter. This guy that we saw earlier, I believe he's like the second generation greeter. There was someone before him why this restaurant was named. And so now we're going to go ahead and cross the street. We're crossing at Pacific Coast Highway and Forest Avenue. This is a diagonal crossing, so it crosses all ways. This road right in front of us, Forest Avenue, Laguna's most iconic street, because tons of the Laguna Beach show were filmed here, has been turned into a pedestrian district known as the Promenade on Forest, so that they have more room for the restaurants. They've added outdoor seating. They've added different tables. There's a lot of shops along here. You can see, because they have to do things outside, the Thai massage parlor is doing their chair massages outside right in front of the art gallery. Art galleries are what you'll find the most of, in addition to, touristy souvenir shops. You can see there's another art gallery here. This is the National Geographic Fine Art Gallery. This is the temporary seating that's been set up here so that people can dine outside. It's on both sides of the street. And the city of Laguna Beach also provides hand sanitizer on these little pillars. The shops on the right, there's a Candy Baron, a clothing boutique, a shoe store. Now, some of these restaurants, like over here, they've enclosed their seating areas with like tents. Friendly people waving at us out here. You'll also find a lot of surf shops. Taking a look here at the right side of the street, we have a Quicksilver surf shop. So if you wanted to go in the water, get a boogie board, get a wetsuit, you'll find plenty of places that will sell those things here in the village. Okay, we're going to go ahead and keep walking straight. Now, one of my favorite places to eat in the village, it's currently closed, but it's just back here with the red umbrellas. It's called Moulin, and it is a French pastry shop. French bakery, maybe is a better term. They have really good French desserts. They have crepes, but I really like their French raspberry desserts. And you can see the sign right back there, Moulin. They close at like 2 or 3 p.m., so if you're coming to check that out, make sure to get here early. And to close off the street on this side, they've got the Laguna Beach lifeguard truck. This Jeep is definitely my color right there. Perfect yellow. And their signs to tell you to mask up to open up are also yellow, so I like that. Here they've got a really fancy drinking fountain that's got drinking for tall people, drinking for less tall people, and drinking for dogs right down there. That's good. That way, Fido can get his drinks as well. Okay, so now this part of Forest Avenue is not pedestrian only. It opens up to cars here. This shop, Art for the Soul, is probably my favorite shop to get souvenirs. We can see the sign right up here, Art for the Soul. They've got a lot of cool art things. Like they've got this pink flamingo right here made of metal. They've got this bird made of metal. Lots of the stuff in here is made of metal. They've got lots of really interesting clocks on the wall. So if you're looking for a unique gift to bring home for yourself or for a loved one, check out Art for the Soul. This video, like most of my videos, is not sponsored. I'm just sharing with you the things that I like here. Oh, this car is really cool. Look at this car. This is the Space 4Z car, and like it's kind of looks like it's Star Wars themed, right? It's got BB-8 right there on top. That's pretty cool. There's a orange Lexus right there. Now, if you've watched a lot of my videos and know a lot about me, then you'll know that I drive a yellow Lexus, so I like the bright colored Lexus vehicles. One of Orange County's historic surf shops is Hobie Surf Shop. This is one of the originals. Not this location, their location in Dana Point, but a lot of great surf stuff there. And we've got a couple doggies crossing the street here. I will point out that if you're walking in Laguna Beach following this walk, be careful when you do cross the streets because there's a lot of people that drive here and people crossing. It just gets kind of crazy. So make sure you are paying attention when you cross the street. Interesting factoid about this city, the city of Laguna Beach, it's its own city, is that they have regulations that signs need to be made of wood. So if you look, all the stores and even gas stations, their signs are made of wood. And we see it most in particular right here at Ken's jewelry store, where the entire sign up there is made of wood. And Laguna Beach really tries hard to maintain this atmosphere of a old-timey European artists' village. So they don't allow any big development. Even the post office here has a rustic vibe. This is the United States Post Office in Laguna Beach. This is the Playa Station, or beach in Spanish. By the way, if you're looking to play a drinking game along with this video today, a good one to play is every time I say Laguna Beach, then you drink. So I'd be really curious for someone to actually count up the number of times I've said Laguna Beach in this video. I'm sure it's a ton. So now this little plaza here, this is the Laguna Lumberyard. The yard bar has actually set up right out here to serve alcoholic drinks outside. So that's cool. This shop, I just like the sign on here in the name, Fond Memories, with a little baby deer. If you're looking for some cheap, tasty pizza, check out Slice Pizza and Beer. They make some pretty good fast-fired pizzas, and they've also got wine that you can get by the ounce. They give you these like bracelets, and they've got these machines in there that dispense wine from machines per ounce, so you can try a lot of different varieties of wine. Back over this way, where we're not going to be turning, the Laguna Beach City Hall is, these are like the city government buildings, and then over here as well. A couple of doggies right here getting their picture taken. All right, looks like some friendly doggies, and they, of course, would be in front of the Naked Dog Bistro, which I guess you bring naked dogs in there to eat. Is that what happens? I mean, you don't eat the dogs, but is that for, do the dogs have to be naked to come in there to eat at the dog bistro? Interesting title. All right, so Laguna Beach, one of the things that makes it the classic place that it is there's these just like big hills that are behind it, and these big hills keep the development kind of at bay, and kind of make it like a little cozy village, because the village can't go much further than about 3 blocks because there's no more place to do urban sprawl. I should point out that most of the parking in Laguna Beach is pay parking. So if you're coming down here, bring your quarters, bring your credit cards, because you are likely going to pay. They're pretty vicious on the parking meter enforcement. But the good news is that the parking meters all take credit cards. Parking meters are enforced like every day of the week. So make sure you pay it, because you don't want to end up with a nasty ticket. All right, so now we're walking down Ocean Avenue, and we're walking down Ocean Avenue on our way back to the beach. I want to go over to the shady side of the street because it's just too bright on that side, shooting into the sun. Okay. Now, Ocean Avenue, as we get closer to the beach, does have a lot of shops and restaurants. This particular block here has also a lot of these art galleries and little things. Here's a personal art gallery by Vanessa Roth in this little cottage. Laguna Beach retains a lot of the old classic cottages that were originally built here, which I think is what makes this kind of a charming walk to do. And the downtown village district, you can explore pretty much all of it easily on foot within an hour. It's all pretty compact. And if you're done with this and then you want to explore more, then you can walk along Pacific Coast Highway. My recommendation is to walk in the direction towards Dana Point. So to walk south on Pacific Coast Highway, the shops, restaurants, and galleries are more interesting in that direction than in the direction north to Newport Beach. If you're here when it's not the pandemic, Laguna Beach has a trolley service that runs around. They're these, I mean, they're not on rails, but they're these old-timey looking buses that you can hop on, hop off, and they're free, and they take you around. And then this big parking lot right here is where the kind of the central stop for the buses. Or I should say the trolleys. Now, this coffee shop is a pretty popular coffee shop. Cafe is called Zinc Cafe. So if you're looking for some fancy coffee, you can check this one out. They close early too. They close at 4 p.m., but it's a spot that has tons of outdoor seating, which that's what everybody's looking for nowadays. Hey, where's a good spot for me to sit and eat outside? These cafes that only had a lot of inside stuff doesn't really work out all that well. A lot of public art in Laguna Beach, as you can see over here in this parking lot. There's kind of a limousine with some animals on it. And then this little historic plaque over here says that this is the location of the original Laguna Beach Playhouse in the early 1900s, which was kind of one of the first places for live theater in Southern California. It is now on Broadway, or the main street, the 133 that brings you down into Laguna Beach. Another one of my favorite places to eat is this spot. This is called Rasta Taco, and it's a taco shop. Let's go ahead and walk through it. It's a taco shop that's Caribbean inspired. They've got a few tables back here, and they've got a bar, but it's a tiny little place It's great for the pandemic because they never had any indoor seating at all. And my favorite thing to get here is the Jamaican jerk chicken taco, $4.50, but they've got burritos and a whole bunch of other things. Now, just across the street, we've got Whole Foods, and this Whole Foods is like the smallest Whole Foods I've ever seen. So we'll go ahead and walk through the parking lot to check out this Whole Foods. There are not a lot of grocery stores in Laguna Beach, and not a lot of cheap eats and a lot of expensive restaurants. So a great place to get a picnic and eat on the beach is at this little tiny Whole Foods right here. Actually, I'll probably be stopping in there a little later, not to get a picnic, but actually just to do some grocery shopping. It works out well on my walk. Don't expect a big one. Their selection is more limited than most Whole Foods. Right here, we have the Laguna Beach Historical Society in this little cottage. You can check out the history of Laguna Beach, more so than what I have told you. Probably a little bit more accurate right there. Looks like there's some street performer set up here. Currently not there, but a keyboardist to play some keyboards. Too bad I missed them. Street performers are always add a bit of character to walking tours. In addition to restaurants, shops, and galleries, there's a lot of banks here in the village. Wells Fargo Advisors. Laguna Beach has a lot of money. The real estate here is really expensive, and so there's a lot of these banks to cater to the very wealthy people that live here in Laguna Beach. And the banks are still kind of the classic looking banks of old. They've got a sign here on this Wells Fargo that said this building originally started life in 1961 as the Laguna Federal Savings and Loan Association. No doubt purchased and added to the conglomerate that is Wells Fargo. Over here on the left, we've got some more restaurants that are doing their outdoor dining and outdoor seating. This one's called The Wharf, the first one we see there, which maybe you could describe a little bit as a dive bar kind of place. Next to it is a sushi restaurant. There's a place called Little Freebirds for infant and kids, and then there's another bar down there called Hennessy's. So there's lots of places to get a drink. I should point out parking. These parking lots for the banks, you can also do public parking, but they're not cheap. If you park in the bank lots right here, it's $5 every 30 minutes, so definitely not cheap. And I don't know why that didn't want to focus on that sign. Probably because somehow my focus is in manual focus instead of autofocus. That is annoying. All right, well, now that we've fixed that, okay, and now as we walk this way, you can see just at the end of this road is the Laguna Beach Lifeguard Tower, which essentially brings us back to where we started this tour. Well, I hope you enjoyed this walking tour. If you want to know more about Laguna Beach outside of the village, check out my video right here, all about Laguna Beach, the ultimate travel guide. And as usual, we won't say goodbye because we'll see you in this video.